But I tell that story because that's the first time in my life that I can say that I purposely focused on the part that was in my control and ignored the part that was outside of my control. That was the first time in my life that I purposely focused on my behaviors rather than my goal. We set goals for ourselves, but our goals are things that are outside of our control. Whatever it is you want to achieve in your life, if you're a student and you want to get an A in a class, that's outside of your control. You don't get to write A's on all of your papers. You have a teacher who's going to grade those papers. You have a teacher who's going to give you assignments. Somebody else is setting the curriculum. Somebody else is grading you. You don't control what your grade is. If you want to be the world's best salesman, you don't get to make all the sales yourself. You don't get to do both sides of the transaction. You got to recruit customers into your life. Goals require you to have the participation of other people. Therefore, they are outside of your control. So if you spend too much time focusing on your goals, you never achieve them. Behaviors, by contrast, are things that you alone can do. It doesn't take a parent, a teacher, a coach, a friend, a neighbor, a spouse, a child. It doesn't require anyone else. You alone can do behaviors, and behaviors are the things that you focus on in order to achieve your goals. Years later, when I look back and I thought about that, I thought, that's really the model for what happens in life. It's a metaphor. If you think about what we all go through with, say, weight loss. We're all on a diet at one point or another. I'm on one now, involuntarily. My wife has put me on one. But we're all on a diet at one point or another. And how does a diet start? It starts with a goal. You say, I want to lose 10 pounds by the end of the year. Okay, that's great. You have a goal. If you stay focused on that goal, you will never lose 10 pounds. Because what's the next thing we do? We go from our goal to the scale. We say, okay, I'm going to step on the scale. Scale, please tell me if I've lost any of these 10 pounds. I haven't lost any pounds. I gained a pound. Okay. And we keep coming back to the scale, and you go through a week where you eat well, you're exercising, you're drinking a lot of water, you're doing all the right things, and you get on the scale and you've gained weight, you quit the diet. If you focus on your goal, you won't achieve it. Instead, you have to focus on your behaviors. Your behaviors are what are in your control. You control the food that you put in your mouth. You control the liquids that you put in your mouth. You control how much exercise you do. You control how you feel about the weight that you are. You control how you feel about the amount of food that you're eating. You could either be like, feel deprived and miserable. Oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world. I'm eating less than I used to eat and I'm starving all the time. I feel miserable. I can't believe I'm on this diet. It's awful. Or you could say, you know what, I'm proud of myself. I'm eating less than I used to eat. I had this instead of that. I feel good. I know that if I keep this up, when I get on the scale is going to tell me something good. If the scale doesn't tell me something good right now, I know that if I keep this up, I'm going to get where I'm going. Right now, we treat the scale as if the scale is an oracle sent down from God to tell us about ourselves. If you focus too much on your goal, if you focus on what it is you weigh, then you're never going to achieve your goal. You have to focus on your behaviors. Think about our kids. We have goals for our kids. We want our kids to be responsible. We want them to be mature. We want them to work hard in school, to work hard at their extracurriculars, to hang out with the right people. We want them to be engaged. We want all these wonderful things for our kids. And because we want these things for them and because we focus on those goals for them, we spend most of our time as parents being agitated. Why are you doing that? I told you not to do that. Get over here, do your homework. Wait, you're only one page in. I told you to get your homework done. And we spend all our time fussing and fussing and fussing because these kids won't do what we have in mind for them in terms of our goals. We are focused on our goal. If you focus on your goal, you'll never achieve it. You have to focus on your behaviors. Behaviors are things that are in your control solely. So you can't control what your kids do. You can control your reaction to your kids. You control rewards. You control consequences. You control your consistency. You control whether you deliver on the things that you say you're going to do. You control whether you respond to your kids at a level 10 or a level 3. You control what you control. And when you focus on the part that's in your control, which are your behaviors, you tend to achieve your goals. So how does this work? The way that I do it in my life, when I set a goal for myself, I make a goal and I'll say, whatever it is, I want to lose 10 pounds. So then I immediately look and I say, behaviors are very short term. I only believe that I can control my behaviors for 7 days. That's it. So when I set a goal, I say, what can I do today that's going to help me get closer to that goal? What can I do tomorrow that's going to help me get closer to that goal? And what can I do this week that's going to get me closer to that goal. Today, tomorrow, and this week. I write things down in those three categories and plan out how I'm going to go after the goals that I have in my life. And that gets me focused on my behaviors. And I know that if I focus on my behaviors day after day, I keep myself motivated day after day. I feel good about what I've done because I say, I did this, I did that, I did that. I'm not worried about the goal. I'm not worried about how much I weigh. I'm not worried about how many sales I've made. I'm not worried about anything that's outside of my control. I'm focused 100% on the part that's in my control. If you want to achieve your goals, don't focus on them. If you want to achieve your goals, you have to focus on the behaviors that are the building blocks that get you to your goals. Thank you very much.